Formula One is gearing up again, and in just a few days, the cars will return to the track at the 5.513-kilometer Circuit of the Americas in Austin. The United States Grand Prix event will be particularly important as some teams are expected to introduce significant aerodynamic upgrade packages, but the return of the sprint race will make the situation even more unpredictable. The Maranello team clearly wants to maintain the positive momentum it experienced before the break, aiming for a better points haul with increasingly precise execution, as Ferrari team principal Frédéric Vasseur often emphasizes. The 2024 Formula One Championship is officially entering its final phase. Only 6 races remain in the current season, all taking place over 8 weeks. It will be an intense period with many points at stake and a standing situation that could still change drastically, given the close gaps in terms of performance between the teams. The Austin weekend therefore marks the start of an intense final part of the season, and the Italian side wants to test the effectiveness of the parts the Maranello technicians and engineers have brought to the previous races in high-speed corners, as confirmed by Frédéric Vasseur, speaking about Ferrari's focus for the next Grand Prix. The American SF-24 will feature the latest package brought to the Monza circuit, including the new floor, as well as the new front wing that was introduced and anticipated in the Singapore Grand Prix. The Ferrari team principal mentioned that Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz were well prepared and that the team was motivated. The French manager emphasized that their focus would be on themselves, and they would do everything possible to maximize the performance of the package they had. He also noted that the season wasn't over, and there were still opportunities for good results, pointing out that the competition was very close, and the standings were still wide open. Looking ahead to Austin and the return of the sprint race, Carlos Galbali, Ferrari's head of vehicle dynamics, also shared his view and analysis. The former Sauber and Mercedes engineer, now working for the Maranello team, explained that Circuit of the Americas is one of the tracks that places significant stress on the tires, with the curves evenly divided between left and right, and both the front and rear of the car under pressure. He pointed out that the American circuit has a good mix of low and high-speed corners, where Ferrari would focus on testing the behavior and progress of the SF-24. He added that a well-balanced car would be essential, particularly for the transition from low to high-speed corners. Once again, tire management will be crucial. At Circuit of the Americas, Pirelli has selected the second softest tire in the range for the soft compound, and both qualifying and the race will demand different tire management, as explained by Carlos Galbali, who pointed out that in qualifying, it will be necessary to bring the tires up to temperature to be fast in the first sector, while still maintaining performance at the end of the lap. In the race, however, the teams will need to sacrifice some performance in the SEs of the first sector in order to avoid making an extra stop. At the same time, the single practice session forces teams to make decisions on their setup approach. Ferrari will focus on the sprint qualifying scheduled a few hours later, so it will be important to have properly correlated simulation tools to avoid making too many changes to the setup. The Austin circuit is 5.513 meters long, with a total of 20 corners, 9 right and 11 left, of varying radius, length, and speed. There are fast sweeping curves, heavy braking zones, and tight hairpin bends to tackle at low speed. Drivers will complete 56 laps before crossing the checkered flag. What makes the Circuit of the Americas truly unique are its constant elevation changes. The main straight has a 22-meter rise that starts from the grid and ends at the first sharp left turn, an area known for many overtakes and contacts. From the crest at Turn 1, drivers plunge down towards Turn 2. Here begins a long series of high-speed chicanes, reminiscent of the Maggots-Beckett section of Silverstone. After a very long straight that ends with hard braking, the final part requires traction and resembles the Motodrome section of Hockenheim. In addition to the elevation changes, another feature of the United States circuit is the bumps. The track surface is very uneven and offers low grip. Last year, due to these bumps, Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc were disqualified from the Austin Grand Prix due to excessive plank wear. However, for this edition, the drivers will find a completely new surface. Fuel consumption during the United States GP in dry track conditions is an important factor to consider. Fuel use is around 1.69 kilograms per lap. From a mechanical point of view, while the Austin circuit isn't harsh on the braking system, it's a different story for the power unit. Drivers will have the throttle fully open for over 62% of the lap. The longest section is the one connecting turn 11 to turn 12, 1,100 meters of straight, about 16 seconds. In this section, as on the main straight, DRS effectiveness will be crucial. As for the gearbox, the Circuit of the Americas is not among the toughest. The total number of gear changes during a Grand Prix is around 3,200. The aerodynamic load required by the track is medium. It is important to find the right compromise between speed, traction, and downforce. Speed is essential to avoid losing too much time on the two long straights, useful for both defending and attacking. Traction is very important in the section from turn 12 to turn 16. Downforce, on the other hand, is crucial for tackling the most important section of the Circuit of the Americas, the entire first sector, which starts from turn 2 and ends at turn 9. This is where the lap times are made. This is where the difference between struggling and well-balanced cars becomes apparent.